location for each unit is, that's,
I recommend we move to a vote.
See, something on paper. If they want to send it to us afterwards, I have no problem voting on this.
okay.
I would like to see it, if you could send it to us with the one color and the 3 black and white and what locations are going to, I would appreciate that.
Okay, well, I got a point of order, was it a point of order? Okay, to vote on this agenda item, so, I have to do that, and then if you want, you can either vote no, or then if you can, well, I got to call for a vote at this point, so, all those in favor say yes,
Yes.
all opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rosera?
Yes.
Ms. Pats?
No.
Mr. Ramick?
Yes.
Mrs. Winton?
Yes.
Mr. Woolley?
Yes, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick,
Sure.
couldn't we just have someone send over a copy of that now that we voted on it, broken down?
Sure.
Like she wanted, that way there will be a record, plus we've openly voted on it and it's part of the record.
Yeah, tomorrow somebody will send an email with a detailed list of what units are going, in which building.
How many, what they are, when they go, I would really appreciate it.
Okay,
I would have voted yes, but I just have I would like to see that in our attachments.
Okay.
Thank you.
yep. Okay, this now well, actually, before we go to open business, I want to reach, clerk, did anybody send in any questions via? Okay, so at this time, I want to open, we're going into open business. Does anybody on council have anything that they would like to discuss? Councilman Remick?
Yes, I had sent in a request to Mr. Couture, Budget and Finance. Are you available for that tonight, sir? Or would you rather wait to another night? It's fine. There's no rush. What I'm asking is just a quick briefing on Tifa, because I get a lot of people asking me questions on Tifa, and I would rather have someone probably a little bit more up to date on it, explain it, just general, basic, how it works.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with, getting an update. I just want to make sure we direct the questions to the correct individual. I think he can explain, the financial accounting of it, but in terms of specific TIFA questions, TIFA projects, it'd probably be more likely to, either our council rep on TIFA or someone from the TIFA board, but I think Mr. Couture is probably the best guy to ask it from a financial perspective.
Mr. Couture, you're prepared to answer this question?
So, through the chair, and Councilman Becerra is correct. I mean, financially with the TIFA, DDA, brownfields, I can answer financial questions, things like that, and give little bit of summary information in regards to that, but I don't have detailed knowledge of TIFA plans or things like that, so it really depends on the questions, but what type of question, Councilman Ramsey, would you like to ask at this point? And
Yes.
I can tell you if I can answer it, or I can defer to the mayor or to economic development if they're here, but we'll try our best.
Yes. Basically, how much a year do taxes come in off TIFA? Approximately how much money is collected just that will go to TIFA?
Yep, I can answer that. So approximately the tax increment revenue is what they call it. It's approximately about $7 million of what is generated by the TIFA.
How much?
$7 million on average.
Okay. So that's $7 million, and I think that it was explained that is tax money that the taxpayers and businesses are paying.
Well, that is correct. That is, they call it tax increment revenue, which is all taxes, real and personal, based on the captured value in the TIFA district.
Okay. Is anyone else got any questions? That was some of the questions I wanted to ask to find out where that money comes from, pretty much how much it is, and that money once it goes to TIFA, it can't be used anywhere else by the city except TIFA making a decision, correct?
Okay.
All the spending comes from TIFA.
So that answer is going to be, like I said, I can give you my opinion, but I'm not an attorney by any means. But the TIFA money, the tax income revenue, is spent by the TIFA board in accordance with the TIFA Act and the TIFA plan. And that's really all I know, that it's the TIFA board is the authority of spending those funds.
And Okay, maybe I can just ask a couple of quick questions of Councilman Johnson. It's nothing really major. If he doesn't mind answering now, or we can always wait to a later date. But I'm just trying to find out, TIFA money can only be spent in the TIFA district.
Correct. Or, in some cases, they've used the money because it's economic development also.
Okay.
So like for the festival, for advertising. So that's going to bring people into the city, that's going to benefit the Tiffin district.
Is that a TIFA district though?
No, it's not, but you're going to bring people into the whole city that are going to go to the restaurants, they're going to go to the bars, they're going to go to the shopping malls. So, you know, that brings in 50,000 people. They're not going to stay right at that park. So it's economic development. That's part of it. Advertisement, economic development. So, and if I'm not mistaken, we've gotten opinions from the Tifa attorney that that's fine to do.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, this has been reviewed multiple times by Pat McGowan from where's he from again? Miller Canfield, yeah. I drew a blank, I don't see him that often. It can be spent in the TIF district, it can be spent on economic development related activities, marketing. Most of the website was funded through TIFA, although technically it's not in a TIFA district. So there are other circumstances that it doesn't have to be spent per se in the TIFA district.
Councilman Rowe?
With that question, Mr. Mayor, just maybe, I've been trying to find out, in reference to the bus stop locations where people could have a cover for bus stops, can TIFA money be spent for those locations to put up shelters?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have that answer today. It would have to be reviewed because those are typically funded by SMART grants as they're smart buses. So I'm not sure that we have any ability to simply erect bus stops along those locations. We have built or installed sheltered locations, but they're typically not part of like a SMART route.
Yeah, and the only reason I was asking that, because I was asked that same question, and I was just wondering because there was some requests from people that take the bus that contacted me that were just wondering if it's a busy location, how do we go about getting a hold of maybe someone, maybe we can look into it, to get, if it's a busy location, can we get somebody to put a couple more up?
Mr. Chairman, what I can tell you is if you send me the details of the where, we will certainly look at it and investigate it, but I can tell you with 100% certainty that we would be in favor of funding projects like that.
Okay.
We've looked at it, just giving you a quick high level, there's like 18 stops that are identified on the SMART route in the 2-mile stretch of Eureka Road, and I think of those 18 stops, one has shelter. So, you know, it is obviously used with you know, mass transit, and there are a lot of people that are dependent upon the bus system, and it is sad to see when they're standing out in the rain. So, but if there's something, you know, particular location, we'd be happy to look at.
I'll send you a list that I've kind of looked at where people are at, I've seen people at,
Yep.
in the bigger numbers, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, anybody that stands out waiting for a bus in this weather or the sun is not good.
Mm-hmm.
I will send that off to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Good. Does anybody else have any other questions?
That's it, I'm good for now.
Okay.
I do,
oh.
if there's ever.
Sure, Councilwoman Beth.
I was just curious if maybe the mayor could give us an update on the Heritage Church, Westmont Church.
Mr. Chairman, we really don't have any additional information at this time. The insurance adjusters were out there, the ATF was out there. The ATF, they are required by law to investigate any fires or fires, I guess, at a church. So at this time, it is not suspected that arson played a role. We do believe it's likely accidental, but we want to go through the process and have the investigation complete. We will evaluate the options of whether it's salvageable or whether it has to be torn down and rebuilt. At this time, it's just far too early. There was a lot of fire damage, but there was far more water damage. The fire got into the ceiling, and there was a lot of blown-in insulation there. with the winds, it kind of moved back and forth across the structure. They would put out one side and it would move to the other side, and then they kind of did that over the period of an hour or so. So at the end of the fire, there was probably 8 inches of water in the floor itself, and portions of the ceiling had collapsed. So it is completely boarded up at this time. It's fenced off, and hopefully we'll begin the process of evaluating it within the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad sight, and, you know, a shout out to Taylor Fire Department from the time I saw that text, you know, I mean, I was right around the corner, I drove by there, and the fire department was already there, you know, I was hoping they got, you know, but I figured in the inside, the water damage and stuff, so.